Is this Ava?
Yes. Who am I speaking to?
Ava, it's me, John, back from Eden High. How have you been? It's been so long.
Oh my God! How long has it been? Like 4 years? I am doing fine, by the way.
Something like that, yes. Oh man, it's so nice to talk to you again.
Likewise, I haven't yet forgotten our late rooftop chats, you know. That used to be my sole solace from all the hooliganism our classmates used to get up to.
Joined them once, and I have to say I regret that to this day. My morals were left all broken. Man, the kind of stuff they would speak about and discuss about each other. Always objectifying and spouting some of the vilest stuff I have ever heard.
Well, I did warn you. Serves you right for not listening.
No, Ava, you don't realize how bad it was, and maybe still is. Things like that don't go away and maybe become worse over time. I don't even want to think about what they are up to now.
Who knows? They might have grown a moral conscience or something. LOL.
Perhaps, but I don't think we should joke about it.
Chill, Mr. Sensitive. There is nothing to it. I was just trying to alleviate the mood a bit.
Well, I can confidently say that you have failed. Don't you remember how Professor Dixon used to say in class about how powerful words are and how it affects the way we think? I don't like this development you have had, honestly.
Excuse me? What the heck are you on about? And don't you dare bring that professor into it. You don't know anything about what went on.
Oh, come on. Don't act all high and mighty now. And what's wrong with Professor Dixon? Poor guy. His wife passed away, and yet neither did he remarry or date again. Took care of his kids, stood by his morals, was always kind.
Well, let's just say the version you know and the version I know are quite different. Well, I don't feel like talking anymore at the moment, but it was definitely nice catching up with you. Bye, John.
Wait, what? What's wrong? Okay, bye, I guess. Talk later?
John was still processing what just happened and was curious as to what made Ava so adverse to the later part of the conversation. To be honest, he always liked her, but for some reason during the later part of their high school years, she became more and more distant. He wanted to ask her, but there was always something that needed his attention, and before he could, she was gone. It was only recently that he managed to get her number from a mutual friend, Harry, who he bumped into accidentally at the local pub. Well, it's fair to say that Harry immediately knew what was up, and in him, John found a wingman. But following his disappointing conversation, he texts Harry.
Hey bro, you there? Hey man, what's up? How did it go? Score some points? Not sure, man. Pretty sure I blew it. I ended up sermonizing her and believe she was just not in the mood. Actually, no. It seemed to be going all well, and then suddenly it was like everything took a turn for the worse. And I don't know what even it was that ticked her off. I was just telling her about how important morals are and just mentioned Professor Dixon and how he is the perfect role model and how you cannot just take certain things easily, and man, that was it. Wait, who did you just mention now? Professor Dixon, our Dixon. Come on, you must remember him. We used to chat with him all the time back in the day. Of course she got mad at you, John. The Professor Dixon you think you know might just be quite different from what we got to realize. After all, you left early, didn't you? Since you got that scholarship and moved upstate to play football. Yes? Why does it seem like I'm missing some integral piece of the puzzle or something? Ava told me the exact same thing, that somehow I am under the wrong presumption. What happened, man? This is messing with my head now. Look, man. You have always been a bit too idealistic for your own good. A tad bit away from reality. You have to understand that not everything is like it seems, and sometimes you end up perceiving exactly what the person in front of you wants you to perceive. As for the story, it's not mine to tell, but you better apologize to Ava, man. And here I was rooting for you with pom-poms in my hands. Come on, man. Give me something here. Don't leave me clueless like this. All I can tell you is that the world is a bit more gray than you realize, and Dixon was not exactly the saint you thought he was. We all have skeletons in our closet, and he does too. And in his arrogance and lack of inhibition, he lets them out. The fact that you still don't know anything about it all is to the credit of our school and how they managed to cover the entire thing up. What? Something that big? How could I not know? Never one to doubt things, are you? That's both your grace as well as sin. Talking with you is just frustrating me even more. I will talk with you later. Let me talk to Ava first.
Albeit John said that it was almost a full week before he texted Ava again. He started going through articles and threads on social media sites to find anything of relevance. And before long he found something, a faint inkling, a thread mentioning how some professor was involved in harassment of students. John did not want to believe a single bit of it, but his brain was drawing the strings together. Ava and Harry's words were going around in his head in circles. He felt so stupid even though he knew that he was yet to know the complete story. Oh, how he was wallowing in his own ignorance while preaching morals. He felt like a hypocrite, a big one, and finally somehow he managed to gather enough courage to send that text in.
Hey, Ava.
Hi.
How are you doing? All good?
Yeah, why?
No, I mean, the way the conversation ended the last time. Me sermonizing you and trying to be a moral preceptor of sorts while not knowing what had happened.
Oh, that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just old stuff.
Actually, it's not really fine. I went online looking up the college socials for some sort of clue, and I did stumble upon a few things, and I do have an idea. But I would like to know, what happened, Ava?
I really don't like talking about it, John. You should probably just ask Harry about it.
He was the one who emphasized on you being the one to tell the story. How it's yours to tell and not his.
Did he now? That numbnut does do a wise thing or two every once in a while. Fine. You got time right now?
Yeah, I'm all ears.
So, this is around the last year of high school. You remember when you would be upstate most of the time for your football tryouts? Well, things happened. Your beloved Professor Dixon being the prime actor in this regard.
I figured that much out. Ava, what really happened?
He forced himself onto me, John, in a classroom, after calling me in for discussion regarding my grades. And not just that. Even after I pushed him away, he kept telling me how this could go a long way and help me get into a good college with no problem at all. I told him I would alert the authorities, and he simply laughed and told me no one would believe me, and it would be best if I kept my mouth shut, and how my obedience would be rewarded. I just told you, didn't I? Say something, John.
Sorry, I'm just speechless. I am so sorry, Ava. I didn't know.
Didn't you realize me getting more and more distant over time? I couldn't say this to anyone, and when I saw you and some of the other students worshiping him, almost I felt sick to my bones. I just wanted to finish up there and get away as soon as I could.
But how could you do nothing? You could have come to any of us, complained to the school authorities, or talked to your parents.
I did talk to my parents, but even they would not believe me completely and told me to forget about it. I felt completely alone and isolated. But they swept it all under the carpet and promised me some kind of remuneration instead. I don't understand. How do you remunerate someone's loss of being and total mental breakdown? I still shiver from the thought of it.
I don't know what to even say, Ava, but I will make sure you get your justice. I will bring this to the right attention of the correct people. He will pay for what he did.
Don't bother. I guess you don't know this either, but he passed away last year in a car accident.
What?
And you know everyone had such beautiful words for him. Ardent father, loving husband, and whatnot. No one knew him for the fiend he was. And I was not the only one, apparently. Later, I got to know he had done something similar to some of our seniors as well, blackmailing them and whatnot. Listening to their stories, I felt like I got off the hook easy. Look, John, I know you respected the man and his values and morals, but I am sorry to say that he was an utter lowlife, and I spent some of my worst days in life because of him, and I continue to suffer till date.
I know, Ava. I am utterly ashamed, to say the least. I was completely blind to it. I deified him so much that anything like this in my head was just beyond him. I have realized my mistake. Things are much more than just black and white. But tell me if there is anything at all I can do for you.
No, John. I just hope you change the way you look at things for a bit. What has happened, and I have come to terms with it. The man who subjected me to that torture is no longer alive. And while I do take some solace in that fact, despite it being a seemingly inhumane thought, I don't want it to be the one thing that defines that phase of my life, or my life in general.
I don't know what to say, Ava, except that I am extremely sorry and that I admire the way you look at life. And I plan to learn and adhere to a few things from you.
You don't need to, John, but I am glad you feel that way. Well, that was all. Man, it does feel lighter, though. I haven't talked about this to anyone in I don't know how long. And I'm sorry if I vented on you, which I am pretty sure I did.
Come on, I deserved that. Stupidity and ignorance has its own price.
LOL. What's with you trying to sound all wise and mature?
Character development, I guess. LOL.
Ha 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 ha.
Well, before that conversation took a turn for a worse, I actually wanted to ask if you would be up for coffee sometime.
Are you asking me out on a date, John?
Maybe.
Saw that coming. No thanks to Harry for a heads up, of course.
That wise ass. I have to talk with him.
So you would rather talk with him than me?
You have a point. Friday?
Friday.
Yes! I will see you then.
You shall. Ava's phone rings. A hopeful call from John.
While Ava had already made peace with it, I knew that it would take me quite some time to completely come to terms with it. It's not always that your beliefs get shaken up, but I understand now that it was necessary. I needed to be shown the ugly truth that sometimes, despite what someone might want you to believe, things could be the exact opposite. I feel bad for Ava, but there is only so much I can do for her. So for the time being, maybe I will just focus on trying to help her in whatever way she wants. I know that she would hate it if I tried to be extra nice and considerate, because that's just not her. I guess I will figure it out as we go ahead. That's life.